everyone, Jade here, otherwise known as Scarlet Rebel. So before we get started, I just wanted to say that I did want my next video to be a to the camera video with my face and everything like I usually do. But when I tried to record that video about the VIDOC, I basically came across a few technical difficulties that were basically my own doing. So I watched the VIDOC a couple of hours after it came out because I watched it with my partner, who is long distance, and I waited for him to get on his break so that we could watch it together. And while I watched it, I recorded my reaction, which I am going to show you, but the thing about why I'm recording it this way to a mic is because afterwards I, rambled some of my thoughts and didn't realise that the sun was going down until it started to go down. So basically a lot of the footage that I used of, my initial ramblings in regards to the VIDOC are just unusable. And I was using this microphone at the same time, but I felt like, if I couldn't use that footage in the first place, then why not just, sit down, gather my thoughts and re-record everything that I thought about the VIDOC. But anyway, let's just jump straight in. If you haven't seen the VIDOC, I am going to run it alongside my reaction, but I do scream and yell a lot and swear a lot. So just a forewarning, I'll leave a link to the VIDOC in the description if you wanted to watch it over there before watching my reaction so you actually know what's going on. And here it is. This is my reaction to the Bungie VIDOC for Beyond Light. Oh.
Beyond Light kicks off the next trilogy of
callback.
stories that we're trying to tell with Destiny.
This music is fucking
Players
cool.
are going to go on a journey to discover the true nature of light and dark.
It's the beginning of players learning more about the darkness. And in fact, going so far as to wield it.
It's about leaving comfort and safety behind, walking a different road than one that you may have believed you were destined for.
What makes something bad? What makes darkness dark?
Who's right?
That's my boyfriend! Oh no. Oh.
How are those learnings going to change the characters that you have gotten to know over the last 6 years?
Oh my god! Did I just watch Drifter do something? Oh my god. Oh my god. That's so cool. Skyfish.
Beyond Light's really the beginning of a new adventure. Guardians, for the longest time, have been bathed in the light, sort of this altruistic force fighting back evil. And now we're starting to move into that gray area between the light and dark.
If the darkness reaches
We've been
out,
in that grey
we
area
must
since
reach
Forsaken.
back.
I will not sanction this.
In Season of Arrivals, the Vanguard is divided. You have some characters telling you, we should fight these ships, and we have other characters who are saying, no, we should find out what they want. We should get to know them and understand more. But it definitely comes to a head.
This next year in Destiny is really just about how all the different characters and factions are reacting to these disappeared destinations and what that means.
Whoa,
as
what
the
the
pyramids
fuck?
have
What the
arrived in our
fuck?
system.
What the
Not for
fuck?
the first time, but for the second time.
We're going to see the return of a character who's been absent for a pretty long time in The Stranger, and boy, does she have a lot to say. And she has a lot
Of time.
Yep. to explain.
When I know more, you'll know more.
She has shown up to encourage us to take on the darkness, and the only way to truly stop it is to work with it.
And here comes our guardian, right on time.
Ah, amazing!
Why did the darkness invite us here?
Europa is literally
I really want
like
a
a time
Guardian
capsule.
to say a lot.
Europa is huge.
Killer destination, freezing cold.
Desolate.
Some of the most beautiful spaces I've ever seen in a video game.
There was a lot built on Europa during the Golden Age, and a lot of that was built underground. Clovis Bray had some research facilities there, really pushing the limits of technology and innovation there, maybe stepping into some things that we shouldn't have.
Oh my gosh.
Under the eyes, all kinds of secrets.
I'm so excited for what players are going to find.
The music is really cool. That's the raid!
The storm on Europa was actually something
I
we
mean,
wanted
yeah,
to
of
do
course
for a
it
long
is.
time.
We knew that.
We wanted it to feel harsh.
The weather system is so awesome. Like, you're walking through an open space and all of a sudden things start happening.
I can make snow angels.
Coming across like Fallen or Vex for the first time, you can barely make out the glow in their eyes.
The sound of the wind, the ice will change based on what the weather is looking like.
Oh shit.
You'll actually feel every piece of the environment changing
That's
around you
really
to match the
fucking
storm.
cool. Yes, tell me
Europa
more.
itself is a pretty foreboding place. Eramis is there in advance of us, and she set up a forward base. She has lieutenants who have gotten their hands on Stasis, gotten their hands on the darkness, and they're learning to wield it.
One by one, we will rise again.
What about her headpiece?
And so I think her motivations are really interesting too.
Today, we begin breaking free from our chains.
It is really cool.
Eramis really challenges a lot of the ways that we think about light and darkness. She's gonna make you think about your relationship with the Traveler.
She's a compelling leader, and she has a vision. And especially after the collapse of their society, people, I think, the Fallen wanted someone to follow.
It's something to do
Is
with
the
not
light gonna be
relying on the
enough?
Traveler.
I think
Because
we've
from what I
seen
remember,
that we need some new
you
tools.
know, they made the server in
to fight our
the image of
enemies
the
with.
Traveler, not that I know whether or not
Maybe
that's
it's time to
confirmed.
fight fire with fire, or ice with ice.
Stasis is, you know, not just a set of new supers, but it's a new damage type. We've got Solar, Void, Arc, and now we've got Stasis.
That's a really sexy looking UI.
The idea for Stasis all really came back from the gameplay idea of freezing someone.
That was kind of the theme that everyone kind of rallied behind. You know, Dima's an amazing concept artist, had some images that really kind of put us on the right path.
That's incredible.
What really was landing with that was the more crystalline notion. So when we say cosmic ice, that's kind of where the cosmic comes in.
Oh my god, this music!
Once he freezes solid, I'm able to hit him again and just shatter him in pieces.
The pieces break apart and explode into sharp shards that can damage you. So all of that kind of came together when we landed on that theme.
Stasis is gonna not only change the way that you can attack or approach combat, there's also some really great ways that you can upgrade it.
I hope
Then
there's
you
a
start
dungeon.
getting into like the more interesting parts, things that we're calling aspects and fragments, which are additional ways to modify your subclass. Aspects are a little bit more potent. And then the fragments are the things that are class agnostic, but depending on what your class is and depending on what your aspects are and how you want to play, you're probably going to be starting to select different ones in there. This is just the beginning for Stasis. We're going to continue to expand.
Yeah, I
on
really
it.
hope.
We're just
Yeah.
excited for
It would be
players to get
really
their
cool if they
hands on
added
this.
the aspect system to the rest of the subclasses as well. Because like, why would you play any
When
other
we're creating a
subclass
new
if you had
palette
something
like
as detailed
Stasis,
as the
we do
as
what we call a
Stasis?
source jam. Everyone on the team blocks out about a week where we can say, okay, you're going to go out into the world, microphone, recorder, record anything that reminds you of cosmic ice. That gives
That
us
is really
the
cool.
palette that we can build the eventual sounds out of.
I found personally that the best way to do it was at night. But doing screams, screeches, and blood-curdling yells is a little scary at night. Then I had a really rumbly stomach, and that also was recorded. There was also a breast pump.
That's cool.
You have to make use of what you got.
Oh yeah, that is.
And beyond light, we have new exotic weapons for you. No Time to Explain is coming back. Instead of just being the gun that refills your magazine when you land precision hits, you actually get a little
time portal, and it starts spitting out rounds alongside you.
Oh, it's like the Axel friend.
You can actually have that on top of the Arc Soul, so you can be your own little mini fire.
Yeah, oh my god. That's really cool.
Another one we have is the Laments. It uses up your sword's energy to give yourself a new combo that ends up in a big spinning slash.
Whoa.
Probably the largest selling point for a lot of people is that it slices right through barrier champions.
I think the largest draw for most people is going to be the fact that it is a chainsaw sword.
Maybe.
Yeah. For Beyond Light, we really wanted to create exotic armor pieces that formed a key part of your build around which all the other parts of your build could revolve. For example, the Titan gets the Icefall Mantle, which is a set of exotic arms that looks like it is crafted from Golden Age tech. When you activate it, you sort of slam your arms down, create a burst of stasis energy, and then you cover yourself in an overshield.
Ooh.
The Warlock exotic is Necrotic Grip. If you are facing a wave of thralls running at you, you can nail them with a
Whoa,
melee
that's
attack,
that was the same hallway as the Omnigul Strike. Navota. The Disgraced. I have questions. Cosmodrome!
There's a lot there for
We're going
newcomers coming in too. If you've got a friend who hasn't tried it out, it's a really great time to jump in on New Light, that entry experience for free players.
Last year, when New Light launched, we brought back a small portion of the Cosmodrome. This year, we're bringing back a much larger portion of the destination.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
It takes some of the experiences that started with original Destiny 1, but puts them and stitches them together in a different way and adds new things and tells a different story.
What you're going to meet in this new opening experience is a character with not one, but two names from Fast and the Furious, Shah Han.
Thank the light. I didn't think we had other Guardians on patrol here.
What I love about the Cosmodrome is it feels like Destiny distilled.
Shah Han, he was a cutie.
Season of the Hunt picks up where Arrival
Season of the Hunt?
Other forces are taking advantage of
That's
the
a nice
darkness
9 hoodie.
to make their move forward.
Oh, jumper, whatever.
Including Xivu Arath, a sister of Oryx, and she's taking this opportunity to build up an army.
Xivu Arath?
And we're working with Osiris to try to stop her.
Osiris goes out, stumbles across.
He looks so mad. He looks like he's like, I told you to be home by 10. It's 10:54. Osiris!
Osiris is in trouble, and of course, you're his only hope.
No! Oh! Oh my god!
We warned you it was going to be dangerous down here. Impossible.
Oh my god!
We finally catch up to what we saw at the end of Forsaken.
Oh my god!
Where we saw Aldrin being brought back to life by a ghost.
Aldrin, who now refers to himself as Crow, he doesn't know what he did. The slate's been wiped clean when he was resurrected as a Guardian.
We know what he's done, and we know what he could be capable of doing. So now we're going to spend some time watching him go back and forth, and that's going to question how we look at him, how we look at ourselves, how we look at the light, how we look at darkness.
In Season of the Hunt, we're partnering with the Crow and Osiris to take
The
down
Crow and Osiris!
It's creating these cryptoliths around the system, and those cryptoliths are attracting Elixian Cabal and corrupting them.
Oh my god!
Xivu Arath is essentially corrupting herself an army, and it's our job to put a stop to it.
I'm really excited to see Xivu Arath fleshed out more and to find out more about her relationship with Savathun and what that means for Year 4 of Destiny.
Savathun has been placing dominoes.
I was about to say, I really didn't think we'd be seeing any movement from Xivu Arath. Like, I know we've seen bits of it, but like, Savathun's really been like...
This year, she's putting the last pieces in place.
He did. He saved Osiris. It makes sense. I mean,
Destiny is
there's a lot to
just
talk
a
about
really
there, but it kind of
world.
makes sense that he's working with them.
There are
the spider.
so many stories for us to tell.
We have a lot to look forward to beyond Light.
I mean, it makes
then
me
the
wonder what the
Witch Queen,
spiders
then
told him,
Lightfall,
you know?
And all the seasonal content between. We feel like we've got a really great
Oh
way to
yeah,
bring people
absolutely.
together. Working through COVID and working through some of the other
W
turmoil in the world right now has been really challenging.
I have to admit, I've been pleasantly surprised with how well we've been able to get things done.
Because you're all amazing.
We're committed to your characters and your community of players. We want to meet you where you are.
I think the thing that excites me the most about Destiny's future is how much it's rooted in where we come from.
No, leave him alone!
Seeing villains revealed and finding out secrets that we've been hinting at for years.
Look at
When I look at the team
him.
that we're building and continuing to grow and hire, the new
Oh my
leaders
god, the
that
baby
are
Yoda's in
coming up in
background.
Destiny,
That's me.
that gets me
That's
super
me.
excited.
Destiny's best days are ahead of us.
Oh my god. This VIDOC just cured my depression. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. If I could go back to myself in Destiny 1 and tell her that there would come a day where Uldren saved Osiris from a night whilst you were talking to him in the Shrine of Oryx, I would be like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, yeah, that doesn't sound, yeah, whatever. But oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Ah! So yeah, safe to say, very excited. Very, very excited indeed. So the first thing that I want to talk about, obviously because it's me, is everything that they kind of started talking about, which was all of the narrative stuff. So a quote that I keep coming back to when I think about this VIDOC is something that someone said along the lines of, this story and Beyond Light is about thinking that your destiny is going in one direction, but finding out that it has to go the other way, or it is ending up going the other way. And I really hope that that is emblematic of the entire story and narrative that we get in Beyond Light, because that is super, super fascinating to me, especially for a character like the Guardian, thinking that their destiny is so straightforward and is you know, saving the city and saving the universe and blah, 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 blah. To find out that you actually have to turn to the thing you're trying to destroy in order to destroy it is super interesting, and I hope that there's more to do with that. And then we got to see a little bit of the Exo Stranger and Drifter and Eris fighting side by side, which made my heart soar. It was so, so cool. And I said in my reaction, oh my god, I'm seeing Drifter do something. And I only mean that teasingly because it's not that the Drifter doesn't do anything. It's just that we know narratively he doesn't like fighting. He's actually afraid of it. It's something that the emissary tells us during the Invitations of the Nine, that the Drifter, he's not scared of fighting, he just hates it. He doesn't actually like violence, which is super interesting considering he was brought back through the line. And also, I can't wait to see Eris fighting, because I feel like we've always heard her fighting. We've always heard about her fighting and about her surviving, but we've never seen her actually doing it. I think a character like Eris, who, looking at her from a surface level, she looks... You wouldn't look at her and think that she was a fighter, but she absolutely is, especially judging from that trailer. So... trailer, I keep saying trailer, it's not a trailer, it's a VIDOC. But definitely judging from that VIDOC, she is here to kick ass, and then of course seeing the Exo Stranger do the same is going to be really, really cool, so I can't wait. Some other story things that they very briefly touched on was the Clovis Bray facility, and I found it really interesting that they didn't necessarily talk about Clovis Bray himself. I unfortunately didn't get the collector's edition of Beyond Light, but my partner did, and he has been reading me pages and certain aspects of the journal. He's basically kind of read me the majority of the journal. So Clovis Bray is an incredibly interesting person, and he essentially, you know, it's so much more than just, oh, Clovis Bray, the corporation built a facility on Europa. It's, you know, Clovis Bray himself came to Europa, and he came to Europa because he so desperately wants to figure out the key to immortality, and he believes that it's through the Exos. And if you got the collector's edition from Shadowkeep, you know that the K1 darkness orb thing that was talked about in a journal of one of the scientists who was on that project on the moon. That thing basically spoke to Clovis, and you know, Clovis talks about how it basically promised him this secret to immortality that he really wants. Whether or not that's true, we don't know. Clovis Bray definitely strikes me as an unreliable narrator. He definitely has his own agenda and his own ideas, and he's very seldom going to compromise on them. And what's even more interesting about that is that it's not even necessarily in a malicious way. He just, dude really wants to not die ever. And I get it, but he's also done some really, really bad things to get to where he was. So I really hope we get to hear more about him in the DLC itself, and you know, in the Clovis Bray facilities that we go into, especially since we're going into the Deepstone Crypt for the raid, which is going to be such an interesting experience. Take a shot every time I say experience during this video, but don't, because you'll probably get really ill. There's just so much. It feels like such a lore-heavy, very rich DLC, and those are the kind of DLCs that I like the most. So it's so exciting, very exciting. Really want to hear more about Clovis Bray. Really want the Exo Stranger to talk about it as well, because again, in the collector's edition, there's a letter that the Exo Stranger writes to the Guardian. She actually writes it on a piece of information that's like a Vanguard report of someone talking about the potential of lifting the indirect on Europa, and Ikora Ray basically says no. But she writes on there some things, I can't remember off the top of my head, but she talks about how she knew who her grandfather was, and, you know, if you don't know, here we go again. If you don't know, the Exo Stranger is Elsie Bray, Anna Bray's sister from before the Golden Age. Not even before the Golden Age, before the collapse, sorry. So the implication is that she wasn't raised as a Guardian or anything like that. She just survived through the collapse, maybe, as an Exo. Essentially, the Cliff Notes version from what I know through, you know, third-party kind of reading stuff in the collector's edition, the Brays had what was called the Clovis Curse, which was basically all Clovis's fault because he genetically altered his sons so that they had more of his genetics in them than their mothers, which morally, that's just so bad. It's so bad. But it's basically created this thing called the Clovis Curse, which is making their bodies kind of deteriorate. Tristan, baby, I'm sure if you're listening, you're going to correct me. So, hello, hi, I love you, and I can't wait, and please be gentle with me. So, yes, essentially, Elsie had it back in the Golden Age when Clovis Bray actually came to Europa, and we can only assume, it doesn't say as much in the journal in the collector's edition, and actually there's a couple of pages of the collector's edition that have ripped it out. So if Elsie was actually put in an Exo body and became the Exo Stranger that way, we can assume it was because her body was deteriorating, because that's what Clovis was trying to do. He was trying to get himself and his family and the rest of humanity into Exo bodies because he wanted, he believes very, very strongly in this idea of creating immortality through being an Exo, but does some very morally reprehensible things to achieve that goal. So we'll see what happens there. It's got a very Weyland-Yutani vibe to it, so I like it a lot, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. And then the next thing that they talked about, story-wise, was everything to do with the Cosmodrome. And I'm really excited for the Cosmodrome to come back. I can't wait to play some old strikes. I can't wait to maybe see some other content. The fact that they've taken New Light and have, so what I'm looking for, elevated it past what it was or what it is in the game right now is really, really cool. And them taking the time to really show new players how to play the game and to do it through an NPC is just really, really cool. And I can't wait to watch other people experience it. And I do also want to experience it myself. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah. But yes, very excited for the Cosmodrome. And then the last kind of main thing that I want to talk about is the Season of the Hunt, which is finally bringing back Uldren Sov. So, once again, if for some reason you don't know, Uldren Sov was the main antagonist of Forsaken. He was under the mind-altering effects of Riven, who is an Ahamkara, a dragon that's capable of making wishes, but at a cost. The problem was that Ahamkara was also under the control of Savathun, which, if you've been playing recently, you know who Savathun is. She's one of the Hive Gods, and she's referred to as the Witch Queen, and she's just bad news all around. So Uldren, being the one who pulled the trigger on Cade 6, was the main antagonist of Forsaken, and we hunted him down right up until the end, where it becomes ambiguous as to whether or not the Guardian or Petra or both, or, well, not neither, but one or the other, you know, something happened and he was killed. Come to find out a few weeks later, I think it was actually like 3 months later or something like that, that Uldren had been brought back to life. He had been revived as a Guardian. He had been brought back to life by the light, and we haven't heard anything from him since. So you're talking like at least, I want to say at least 2 years, maybe just a year, but like, yeah, in between 1 and 2 years, we haven't heard anything about Uldren. There's been a few lore pieces here and there. Like, there was a ship that came out during the Dawning that talked about him and talked about how when other Guardians see him, they're really mean to him and he doesn't understand why, and Uldren doesn't deserve that because he doesn't remember what he did. But that in of itself, him remembering what he did, is something that is so, I'm trying to avoid using the word interesting, but it's not going to happen. It is interesting because it looks to me, I mean, it looks very obvious that he's working with the Spider, because they said when they were talking about the Season of the Hunt, you're working with Osiris and the Crow, and also the Spider, who I guess is also here, to hunt down different enemies in the enemy factions who are being, not taken in the like actual taken race sense, but taken by Xivu Arath, because she has started to now push into the system, which is really interesting. They mentioned how Savathun has been lining up all these dominoes, and the last one is about to fall, which you would assume is going to take us into the Witch Queen DLC, which is the next DLC. The fact that Xivu Arath is now like, okay, now it's my turn, and is coming into the system and doing all this stuff is really, again, it's going to be interesting. Like, is she working with Savathun? Are they both working independent of each other? Is she coming to the system to mess up her sister's plans? Is she doing it on purpose? Like, we won't know until the season starts and until we see all of that story stuff, which I believe the story stuff for this season is starting a week after Beyond Light, which makes sense to me that they're not running concurrently, because it would be a lot. Everything that happens in Beyond Light is the main threat. They want to give the main attention to the Exo Stranger and Drifter and Eris, and, you know, Eramis being the main villain, and we'll talk about her as well. But in terms of Uldren and what does he remember, what does he not remember, if he is working with the Spider, does Petra know? Did the Spider tell him what happened? If the Spider's keeping it to himself, which that doesn't seem like a foregone conclusion for a character like the Spider, like, why? How long has he kept it from us? Why has he kept it from? I mean, we know why he's kept it from us, but like, the gall of that Spider-Man to just know that Uldren is alive and to have him as his own personal guardian and not tell us. Oh man, I really want to see the reactions to that, and I do really want to know if Petra knows. I imagine she doesn't, because you can't tell me that if the Guardian didn't pull the trigger, Petra was the one who did, and if they both pulled it, obviously Petra wanted him dead. So I am really interested to see that conversation between the Guardian, Uldren, and the Spider. I can't wait to see how Osiris plays into it, and I love that part of the VIDOC where he just looks like he's really angry at the Guardian. And now that I'm thinking about it, he's probably telling the Guardian to get the hell out of here because it's really dangerous, because that's what Uldren's ghost, who might be pulled pork, might not be, I guess we'll see, said to him. We told you it was too dangerous to come down here. So I just, what a bombastic way to be like, hey, we haven't forgotten about Uldren. He's here. We are just as excited as you are. He's coming back. And then the very, very last thing that I want to touch on is something that I talked about in my story trailer reaction video, the last one that I uploaded, just about Eramis and the fact that it felt like they weren't really talking about her too much, even though they were talking about how she had ambition and she knew what she wanted. And I want to say I compared her to, but I said that kind of character design was very much in the vein of Oryx and Gaul, which made me very, very excited. So with that in mind, it did then make me excited to see them talk about her more and talk about the fact that she has an ambition. And when she punched that server, I remember my partner being like, oh god, why would she do that? But, it goes back to that thing of the Fallen made the servitors, and again, I don't know if this is like canon or just something that I heard, but the Fallen might have made the servitors in the image of the Traveler, and Eramis talks about how they don't need the Traveler anymore, and if anything, they're going to kill the Traveler for what it did to them, which, fair play to them. Traveler abandoned them. They said that in the VIDOC. So her punching that servitor and then just this big, like, dramatic, like, "Bah, we don't need you anymore." Like, I like her a lot, and I really hope she has some really cool moments like Oryx and Gaul did. Well, that's going to do it for me on this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope that this VIDOC has got you as excited for Beyond Light as I am. If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing, or doing just one or neither. Honestly, I'm just really glad that you've watched all the way to the end of this video. Leave me a comment if you want to talk about Beyond Light. I think that would be really cool. The links for all my socials will also be down in the description. I tend to talk about Destiny mostly on Twitter and retweet Destiny news and stuff like that. My name is Jade, otherwise known as Scarlet Rebel, and I hope you all have a absolutely wonderful day. Bye-bye.